Christmas has come, Christmas has gone, but Derby County are still in need of new players. And a player who we've spoke about a lot on this channel over the course of the last 6 months is Ali Al-Hamadi. A player at Ipswich Town, a striker nonetheless, and a player who I think Derby County absolutely need. We've gone across his career in the past couple of videos. We spoke about why this deal should work. But is there more to the story than Derby County and Ali Al-Hamadi so far? We're going to talk about all of that in this video, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content. But shall we now get on to talking about Ali Al-Hamadi and why he may be coming to Derby County. Now, a lot of you will know who Ali Al-Hamadi is, and you may even know the past that Ali Al-Hamadi has with Derby County. He was a player who came in on trial during the beginning of pre-season, during the year where we went into administration, and he was a player who was highly thought of at the club of Derby County, and a player who Derby County did want to take on full-time. But unfortunately, due to the nature of the situation and the EFL restrictions Derby County were under at the time, they were unable to make a deal pay. This saw Ali Al-Hamadi move on to AFC Wimbledon, as well as having trials at a few other clubs during that process. But he then made a name for himself at Wimbledon and found himself as a big hot prospect in the English Football League. He found himself moving to Ipswich Town, where he went on to have a fairly good half season and then a decent season in the Championship, before moving on to the Premier League with Ipswich Town as well. And what a few years and what a rise to glory it has been for Ali Al-Hamadi. But ultimately, he has not been getting the game time that he wants or needs at Ipswich Town. Yes, he's been playing a little bit more regularly recently. Obviously, an injury at the start of the season cost him a few games as well. But I think it's time for Ali Al-Hamadi to step up and be a main striker for a team, whether that be in the Championship or the Premier League. And I think Derby County would be an excellent option for him. Now, we all know that Derby County are going to be losing on Jerry Yates in the summer, who will head back to Swansea City. Now, for me, I'd love for Derby County to pick up Jerry Yates on a permanent deal, but that looks unlikely as of things right now. Obviously, it will be much needed that Derby County get an investment to be able to do that. Now, Ali Al-Hamadi is a player who could come in for the next 6 months on loan, maybe even a permanent deal if David Clowes is willing to put his hand in his pocket for that sort of deal. We do know that Derby County are sort of hemorrhaging money at the moment, which obviously David Clowes is forefronting, and that's obviously massive for Derby County, and we all love and appreciate what David Clowes is doing. But we know that if we want to take the step up to the next level in this division, we have to go and spend a little bit of cash. Now, we have to spend it smart, not like we did under previous ownerships, and I think that's what we've done so far. And if you look at the players we've been linked to so far, the likes of Jadon Montour, the likes of Ernest Poku, and as well as Ali Al-Hamadi, I think all the deals we're looking at will certainly improve Derby County. Now, there will be a video on Ernest Poku coming out in just a few days, so make sure you have hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for when that one drops. And for Derby County, bringing in the striker, for me, is absolutely massive. Obviously, we've spoke about this a lot across the course of the channel, especially this season, where I think Derby County should be in a much better position than what they are. And ultimately we aren't, because we've not been taking our chances. We've not been putting teams to bed. We've not been being able to get that second goal. And that is something which I think the likes of Ali Al-Hamadi, up front with a Jerry Yates or up front on his own, could certainly do for Derby County. And it's a massive moment for Derby County in this transfer window to be looking at players like Ali Al-Hamadi and going, well, hang on a minute, he really could take Derby County to that next level in the forward areas. And now, don't get me wrong, I don't think a striker is the only position we need. I also think we need a holding midfielder. I think we need another number 10 type player. I think we need a left back who can step in and replace the likes of Craig Forsyth and Callum Elder. Now, one does not simply replace Craig Forsyth, and I do understand that, but there's a lot of positions on this pitch that we need to improve on the depth and things like that. And I can see players moving out, the likes of Connor Washington, the likes of Tom Barkhazen, the likes maybe even of Sonny Bradley, Jake Rooney, moving on to pastures new. And there's going to be a video out tomorrow talking about Ben Radcliffe, who looks to be set to be joining League One Crawley Town. We're going to talk all about that in a video tomorrow. It's a very interesting deal, and one which I think works really well for Derby County. Now, back on to Ali Al-Hamadi and the striker situation at Derby County. We saw just yesterday in the game versus West Bromwich Albion that Derby County can beat any team in this division, and it's going to be interesting to see how we set up against Leeds on the 29th. It's going to be a very, very interesting fixture, one which Derby County must push themselves right to the limits. The preview for that video will be out tomorrow, but it's a massive moment for Derby County to get these deals over the line. There's been some talk in my comments section that apparently it's really close to being a done deal for Ali Al-Hamadi to come to Derby. Now, I've not seen anything of that nature right now. It doesn't mean it's not true. I take everything at face value and we'll see what happens with it. But it could be a really good deal for Derby County. You look at adding Ali Al-Hamadi to Jerry Yates, to Dajaune Brown, James Collins, Connor Washington, and it certainly improves what we've got. It opens the door for Collins and Washington to go out and get football somewhere else, or even Dajaune Brown go out and get football, because right now the problem I'm seeing with Derby County's strike department is Dajaune Brown isn't playing football. And if he's going to be this big thing that people think he could be, then we have to spend that money and bring someone in that is not necessarily going to block his path, but give him the opportunity to go and make a path for himself. Maybe that be a loan spell for another 6 months. Maybe it be a long-term deal with Derby County and getting game time. That's what we need to see with the likes of Dajaune Brown. It's what we need to see throughout this January transfer window. Is not just looking at the players that we've already got in the building, but looking at how the players we bring in could impact those youngsters, especially if you look at the likes of Cruz Allen, Niall McAndrew, Harry Hawkins. You've got the likes of Jack Perry, you've got Jaden Davison as well. Like, there's so many talented individuals. Owen Eames, a player who, when I was there, wasn't necessarily thought upon as this amazing talented player, but in my opinion, from what I saw that year, he's got so much potential, and there's a lot that he can do that some other players can't. He's a proper workhorse, works really hard, and he looks really, really good. I think it was the Under-18s Youth Cup game, and I thought when he came on, really good performance. And he started, and I thought he put in a really good performance. And it's one of those for me where I think we've got so many players that are coming through the ranks now. You've got Isaac Gordon, Case Gordon, some really, really good players coming through in the fullback positions, which I think Derby County need players in those positions. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, and I think it's a big deal what goes on across the course of January for the future of those youngsters, and whether, obviously, the likes of Owen Eames, Cruz Allen, Niall McAndrew, they're all really young. They've got a long, long way to go before they hit the first team. Now, they could hit the first team this season, next season they could. No one's stopping them, sort of thing. But it's one of those where it's going to be really interesting to see what does happen. Now, obviously, for those players to get opportunities, it does mean there has to be some problems in the first team. It's going to be interesting to see how the next few months go. Derby County face Leeds United on Sunday the 29th of December. It's going to be an absolutely massive game at Pride Park Stadium. The preview for that will be out tomorrow evening, so make sure if you have not done so already, you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video.